What's up, interwebs? I'm Tim.
I'm Adam.
And this is the Storytime Podcast. We're going through my first novel, Angelic Wars, Legend of the Godchild. Angelic Wars Book 1. Gotta get the full title in there.
Full title.
Full title. You gotta get it in there. Where we actually have Adam read a chapter, pre-recorded, we plug in here. And after that goes through, we talk about it, discussion it, and then... Discussion it?
Yeah, we discussion it.
Discussion it. And see how chapter 3, 4 build up and all that stuff. Today, we are going on to chapter 8.
Yes. I don't know what's going on out there.
I don't know if it's getting picked up.
I don't care.
Oh, well. So, in a minute, we'll cut to the Adam's reading, and then we'll come back with a discussion. But before we get there, if you're going to enjoy this podcast episode, why don't you go and smash that like button and do it. Do it as a prayer to the holy algorithm.
The holy algorithm.
And subscribe because I got writing content on this channel. And if you're in some mood after this podcast for some bad gameplay, go check out Adam's channel.
ZOP Gaming.
They're terrible.
We are so good at being bad.
Yeah, they're pro gamers.
Quote unquote pros.
I said that in my tone, bro.
Did you?
Yes. Anyway, now that we got that out of the way, we'll get to the reading, and then we'll be back to discuss the chapter.
Chapter 8. The Quest. Okay, Kiana, Natalie said, picking up her paper plate from the kitchen table. It's time to do homework. And remember, if you do it without complaining, you can stay up until 11. I know, Kiana said. I have homework. Mrs. Edwards gives way too much for 5th grade. I know, Natalie replied. I had her too, and I dreaded doing homework just like you. However, she's a close friend of Mom and Dad. That's why both of us have had her. That's not fair, Kiana said. She should be off limits since she is friends with Mom and Dad. All I hear from Ashley, how has Mr. Henchman hardly gives any homework? That's why Mom and Dad pull strings to get us in Mrs. Edwards' class. They want us to learn something, and not having much homework they don't think is a good way to get students to learn. It's just not fair, Kiana replied. Well, life isn't fair, so deal with it, Natalie said. You think you have too much homework? I have to do my math, plus write a 5-page creative story for English, as well as study for a history test and science quiz tomorrow. On second thought, Kiana said, I'm glad I'm not you. Now, if you didn't wait until the last minute, you wouldn't be in this situation. I didn't wait until the last minute, Natalie interrupted. I just got all this work today. Well, except the history test, which I have been studying for since Friday, and I'm still not ready to take. I think I'll just go and do my homework, Kiana said, standing up from her chair and walking into the living room. I don't want to prevent you from doing your homework. Really funny, Natalie said. After throwing away the plates and wrapping up the rest of the pizza, Natalie walked into the living room where her backpack was. She pulled out her math book and placed it on the couch, then stood up and walked down the hall to the small closet in between the 2 bedrooms. After opening the door, Natalie pulled out a small TV tray, brought it into the living room, and set it up. Once that was done, she sat on the couch and pulled the tray over her legs. As she placed the math book on the tray, she flipped to the page where her assignment was. Once the book was opened to the correct page, she grabbed the notebook from her backpack and opened that to the first clean page. Natalie wrote out the first problem and began starting to solve it. After a few minutes, she looked at the clock on the cable box. Sage, what are you doing that was so important that you had to leave us alone? She asked herself. What did you want to meet about? Sage asked as he greeted a fellow friend as he came into the room. The person who joined him had on the same outfit as Sage, a long leather trench coat with black armor under it with black baggy cargo pants. We have reasons to believe something big is going to be coming down the road soon, the other person said. I had a feeling so, Sage replied. It would explain the recent lull in activity around the world. I think we're going to see another attempt on the throne. This time, there will be more at stake now than there was last time. I was thinking the same thing, the other person replied. So, is there a plan being worked on? We have some options that we have never done before, Sage said. I never thought we would have to use some of these tactics. That's why we have them. We will use them only if we don't get any more information on what's going on in the enemy's camp. We might have to go through with it. Any word from the boss on this? From what I'm getting, is that he is willing to allow it, the other person said. So he's going to reveal his plan as things happen? Sage replied. I normally don't mind that, but if this is going to be as big as I think it is, then we could be looking at another dark age. Let's hope he won't let it go that far again, the other person said. Anyways, the option you're talking about, that could be Memorius's tactic. Yeah, Sage said. If that's what is decided, I'll be the one who goes through with it. Well, I'll keep you informed on any new information, the person said. Good, Sage said. Take care, Ammonius. Sage's head shot up from his chest, and he began to breathe very heavily. His eyes were wide and almost completely white. The pupils were almost unnoticeable. After a few moments, he started breathing normally, and his pupils returned. He quickly looked around and saw that he was still on the mountain. He had fallen asleep when he sat down on a big rock to rest from his hike. He had no clue how long he had been sleeping, but he feared it was too long. The sun was getting ready to set, and he still had to get to where he had... The sun was ready to set, and he still had to get to where he had to be. With not much time left before he would have to set up camp for the night, Sage jumped off the rock and began to hike. About 3 minutes into his hike, he had stopped. His dream he just had was on his mind. What was with that dream? Sage asked. It was nothing like any of the others. Why have this dream now? Why not before the other dreams? Sage stood still as he began to think about his dream again. He figured when he mentioned the enemy, he referred to those creatures he kept fighting in his other dreams. However, the lull in the activity did not fit with his dreams. It seemed like there was more than enough activity. I don't think I'm ever going to figure out what my dreams mean, Sage said. Well, if you stopped sleeping and actually did some hiking, you might figure out where you need to go to complete this task, said a voice in front of him. Sage lifted his head to see Cyrus standing only a few feet from him. Nothing had changed. He was still wearing the same outfit, the one from his dreams. Do you think you could at least tell me what I have to do? Sage asked. Sure, Cyrus said. However, I would like to know why you had to call Raven before you put your trust in me to watch over your sisters. She told you? Sage asked. No, Cyrus replied. I have my ways of finding things out. To answer your question, no, I am not mad at you or even disappointed. If I were in your shoes and a stranger who knew everything about me showed up and told me about a task that could bring back my memory, but he would watch over my family, I would not trust him either. Well, I trust you now, Sage said. Well, a little. If you would tell me where I am going, I might push that up to I trust you some. I guess telling you what you're looking for wouldn't hurt, Cyrus said. Now we're getting somewhere, Sage said. You're looking for a lost sword, Cyrus said. It just happens to be located somewhere on this mountain, and you have a long trip ahead of you. I know where it is and could tell you. However, I'm not going to tell you that. My boss would not allow me to say. Then how will I find it? Sage asked. You know how big this mountain is? I could spend days on here and still not find it. Keep your eyes open and listen, and you'll find it, Cyrus said. Now I must go check on your sisters. Last time I checked, they were just finishing dinner. You might want to get moving. You only have another 30 minutes of light left. Cyrus walked past Sage and continued down the mountain. Sage watched him determined to see how he just vanishes. However, after 5 minutes, Cyrus was out of sight, still walking. So Sage decided to get moving himself. He continued up the mountain and kept his eyes open for anything that might resemble a sword. While he walked, he thought about how he took his task to find a sword, not knowing where it was. The idea of turning back and going home came to mind, and was starting to sound not that bad. However, what kept him from doing that was the idea of getting his memory back after finding the sword. So Sage continued walking, seeing a few wild animals as he walked through the woods. After 10 minutes, he came across a path that led around the mountain, but kept him moving towards the top. So Sage decided to take it. After 15 more minutes, the light was starting to fail, so he decided to set up camp. He drew his backpack to the ground as he sat down next to it, wanting to catch his breath before setting up camp. It was only a minute or two after sitting down when he heard a growl behind him. He turned around and saw a huge black bear only 10 feet from him. The bear jumped up on its hind legs and was a few inches taller than he when standing up. Sage jumped to his feet and grabbed his backpack. "Whoa!" Sage said. "Nice bear." That did not change anything. The bear dropped back down on all fours and charged at him. Sage turned and began to run, knowing running up the mountain would just make him bear food, so he took off to his right, jumping over fallen trees and avoiding rocks. Sage sprinted across the mountain with the bear only a few feet behind him. After a few minutes, he came to a slope of the mountain that was not that steep, so he changed his direction and began to run up the mountain. The bear seemed to slow down when it began to climb the slope, but Sage was not going to wait to see if the bear stopped. At the top of the slope, he came to a large stone quarry. He ran into it and found a place to hide. A minute later, the bear reached the quarry and began to look around for its prey. The bear passed the spot where Sage was hiding, but out of fear that if he moved, the bear would find him, he waited there for a few minutes. After 10 minutes, Sage was still afraid to leave, but the bear hadn't come back through yet, and he didn't want to be there if he decided to check where it missed. So he slowly checked to make sure the bear was not in sight before he made a run through the maze of the huge rocks. After running around constantly, Sage realized he was not coming any closer to the entrance. He was trapped in a labyrinth, and he didn't know how to get out. After another few minutes, he leaned up against a rock to rest. His run through the woods from the bear had tired him out. Even though he had been walking for the last 5 minutes, he was still worn out. "Why did I have to run into the quarry?" Sage asked himself. "There has to be a way out. It can't be that big." The growl came again, and it sounded close. Not sure what direction it came from, he took off, heading in the same way he had been going. He quickly came to a dead end, so he turned back until he came to another path. "If I can't find my way out by going the way I came," Sage said, "maybe I can find my way out by going up." So Sage took the path that led towards the top of the mountain. After walking around, it was harder to see where he was going. The sun had set and it was getting dark. After a minute or two, he later came to a big clearing in the quarry. There was enough space for him to set up the tent, with 2 or 3 paths for him to take if the bear found him. So he set his backpack down and pulled out his tent. Within a few minutes, the tent was up, and he had found enough wood to start a small fire. He pulled out some hot dogs from his pack and put 2 on a stick and began to cook them. Within minutes, they were done. As Sage sat next to the fire, eating his hot dogs, the bear came walking down from the path to his right. The smell of the dog's cooking made it easy for it to find him. However, Sage did not even know it was there until it tackled him. Sage hit his head on a rock as he was thrown to the ground. The bear began to slash at him, but Sage was able to roll out of the way. The blow to his head had no effect on him. He quickly got to his feet and stared the bear right in his eyes. The bear charged at him, but Sage moved out of the way before he reached him. The bear turned and charged him again. This time he got to him before he could move. The bear jumped to its hind legs, began slashing at him. Somehow Sage knew right when the bear was going to slash and was able to dodge the claws. After avoiding several of the bear's slashes, Sage realized he was moving a lot faster than the bear was. However, stopping and thinking about how fast he was moving was not a good idea. The bear caught him upside the head, sending him flying into the fire. His jacket and shirt burst into flames as soon as he touched the fire. Sage jumped up and began rolling around on the ground, trying to put the fire out. That's when he noticed his clothes were on fire, but he was not being burned. He could feel the heat, but it was not hurting him. Then an idea popped into his head. He stood up and saw the bear was walking towards him. It jumped back to its hind legs as it got ready to strike. Sage charged the bear and tackled it. The bear flew back and hit one of the rocks and fell to the ground. The fire caught the bear on fire and quickly turned it into a flaming ball of fur that was on fire. Sage had no clue how he forced the bear that had to be close to 300 pounds through the air and hit a rock that was 20 feet away. Before he could figure anything out, he took off his jacket and shirt and threw them to the ground and began to stomp on them. His pants were smoking, but hadn't caught fire. "Great," Sage said. "Now what am I going to use for a jacket? Looks like I'm going to have to wear extra layers tomorrow." Sage walked over to his backpack and pulled out another shirt and put it on, before he sat down by the fire. Being able to move faster than a bear, not being burned by fire or hurt by the slash of the bear or hitting his head on a rock, and being able to launch a 300-pound black bear through the air so it could hit its head on a rock, now he was plagued by all of these new questions. "What's going on here?" Sage asked. "What am I? How can I do all of these things?" "Really good questions," Cyrus replied, who was leaning up against the rock directly across from Sage. "Questions that would make anyone wonder about his past and who he is. You know what I am, aren't you? Don't you?" Sage shouted. "I do," Cyrus answered. "Why don't you just tell me?" Sage asked. "I want to know." "I know you do," Cyrus said. "I wish I could tell you, but I've been restricted by the one who sent me. All I can tell you is find the sword and your questions will be answered." "Why would the person who sent you only allow you to give me certain information?" Sage asked. "If I told you," Cyrus said, "you would not believe me and you would not go on this quest. Giving you just enough information at the right time keeps you from turning back." "How can this sword give me back my memories?" Sage asked. "Now you're asking questions I can answer," Cyrus said. "The sword you're looking for is connected to you. You have this strange feeling that you cannot describe. That is the sword calling to you. That is why you decided to find it." "That is not the reason why I decided to come on this task," Sage replied. "Yes, I'll admit that is one of the reasons. However, the idea of knowing my past is the main reason." "You may think that," Cyrus said. "However, it is really the calling of the sword that got you on this trip. You just attribute it to other reasons." "Sure," Cyrus said. "You can believe what you want. I know why I accepted this task." "So do I," Cyrus replied. "How is this sword going to answer all my questions?" Sage asked. "Your memory is linked to it," Cyrus said. find the sword, you find your lost memories. Why do you think your dreams have changed? And you're discovering you can do all these amazing things. It's because you're getting closer to your memory. You are not far from it. You should be able to find it tomorrow. First off, I realized I could do some amazing things before I got on this mountain, Sage said. Second, I can't find my way out of this quarry. So how am I going to find this sword? That's easy, Cyrus said, pointing to the path the bear came down. That path will lead you out. Just stay on it, and you will be out of this labyrinth in no time. Oh, Sage said as he glanced away. However, Cyrus said, if you do as good a job as you did today, you most likely will not find it tomorrow. So I suggest you try a little harder. Oh yeah, you might need this once you find the sword. Cyrus threw him a black sheath samurai sword with a red stripe down the sides of the sheath. Why will I need this sword when I could just use my sword? Sage said as he turned to face Cyrus. But he was gone. How does he do that? The next time I see him, I'm going to have him tell me all about it. Sage stood up and stretched. After a few minutes of stretching, he thought he could check out the path, just so he would know where he was going in the morning. That is when he realized he could run into another bear or animal. So Sage decided not to do that, even though he had a weapon. I'm getting tired, he said to himself. I better get some sleep. This day has been a weird one. I just hope I don't have any more dreams. Sage picked up the sword and walked over to the tent and unzipped it. He pulled off his shoes and placed them as well the sword inside. He stepped inside and zipped up the tent after him. Before getting into his sleeping bag, he quickly changed clothes. Once in his sleeping bag and his head touched his pillow, he was out.
But what about the hot dogs?
Hey, leave my pronunciations alone, okay?
No.
You're the one who gave me, Memorious? No, Memorious?
Yeah, what about it?
Oh my god, dude.
It's Latin.
I had to stop to figure out how to pronounce that.
Well, that's how unprofessional you are. A real professional narrator would never stop. They would know how to pronounce it.
I do have some other questions of how did he find, burning material in a quarry?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Either you don't know what a quarry is.
No, I know what a quarry is.
It's in the side of a mountain.
Anyway, let's go to the big picture of this. We'll get to that, the rock quarry, in a moment. So, big picture.
Big picture.
Let's start with the again, we went with the last two chapters have been very similar. Small part for certain characters.
Yep.
Then moving on to the main focus of the chapter.
Yes.
Which is weird.
I enjoy the fact that the beginning of this chapter could have been the end of the previous chapter.
This is where I got my idea for Skylar Grant.
Yeah.
This early. Start the chapter with the end of the actual last chapter.
Yeah. Natalie and Kiana's entire part should have been the end of the previous chapter.
Yeah, and shortened, actually.
Yes.
For the end of the last chapter. But yeah, it's basically, I think what I went with this part was, let's pick up with them, and then I can have a nice, now it's like, oh, Sage, what are you up to? And then transition into seeing Sage.
Who's in a dream.
Who's in a dream.
And at least this time, his uniform has actual armor now.
We talked about this, Adam. It's flesh colored.
No. This said it was black armor.
Oh, no, I'm talking about Cyrus's armor.
Oh, yeah.
It's flesh colored. With nipples, because we went Batsuit.
Yes.
From Batman and Robin.
Yep. Yeah, the Schumacher.
Yep.
Yeah.
What was he thinking?
I don't know.
And what was the shot of the butt?
And the crotch.
And the crotch.
I don't know.
No, actually, it wasn't the crotch. It was supposed to be the belt, but it was too much crotch.
It was all crotch.
It was clearly crotch and ass. And if I'm not mistaken, when it became for Batgirl, we got actually focused on the belt, but we did get focused on the ass, though.
Exactly. Everyone's ass got exposed.
Anyway, but yes, the dream. What did you think of the dream sequence?
It left way more questions than any type of answer.
Well, we were only in chapter 8, so we got to build some questions.
No, I understand, but before
yeah.
it was, Sage fighting off these shadow creatures, these demons and whatnot. And now it was a meeting.
Well, I think it's supposed to be a memory.
Probably, but it really comes across as... So I've called you all here for this meeting today to discuss whether or not we will be going through with the plan that we've already established. But we do have a backup plan, but we're not going to tell you what any of these plans are. Just that if we don't do them, there's a third backup plan, but that will issue in the Dark Age.
No, another Dark Age.
Another Dark Age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, we do believe we do get told these are actually memories from Cyrus. You know, the expedition dump character?
Yes, the exposition guy.
Because my question is he a character or is he just there for info dumps?
I mean, it works either way.
Although, we found out he's actually a character. He just can't answer certain questions. And Sage, who doesn't know what the right questions are, has to ask the right questions.
Exactly. If you're not asking the right questions, I can't give you the information.
Exactly.
It's like, but what are the right questions? I can't give you that.
I can't tell you that.
That's information I'm not allowed to give you.
Actually, I don't know until you ask the right question.
Oh, that's the right question.
I can answer that one. Good. Thank God. At least we didn't get you have so many questions. Which one do you want me to answer?
At least that didn't happen this time.
Oh, we're going to get another one of those.
Oh.
I guarantee. Oh, it's a few chapters away, but we're going to get another one of those shortly. But yeah, it was interesting. I do think we could have a follow-up to this one in another dream later on.
Oh, okay.
That will kind of hint at the
By the way,
tactic, but I'm not sure. I can't remember.
I do have a few questions regarding this chapter.
I'm sorry, that's one of the right questions. I can't answer those.
What? How? So the campfire was not far away from the tent.
Yes.
Which by the way, what the hell is Sage's clothing made out of? Because his jacket and shirt both burst into flames the moment he touched the fire.
It was clearly a raging fire.
But not his pants.
A raging fire that was small.
Yes.
A small raging fire.
And, and how far away was this dead bear that had been burnt? That's a lot of burning hair smell, by the way. It does not smell good.
Do you want me... Okay, there's a lot of questions there. Which one do you want me to answer? Because we still haven't answered...
No. You know what? We're moving right on. I got more questions.
The idea of the rock quarry is more like... There's a rock quarry, but there's wood still in there.
Yeah.
But so it wasn't really a rock quarry.
No.
But that's the
rocky
best
area.
Yeah, that was a labyrinth apparently.
Yes.
Which actually the question is, why run into an area where you're going to get possibly cornered? And another more important question: once you lost the bear, and you set up camp, and you start a fire, why do you decide to cook hot dogs?
Hot dogs.
When a bear was just chasing you.
Don't ever question my pronunciation of hot dogs.
I'm going to question your pronunciation of hot dogs.
It's just hot dogs.
Yeah, but you're saying it's hot dogs. But
No. What you're thinking of?
It's not Pizza Hut.
I'm sorry, sir. It's Pizza Hut.
Pizza
Hut. Okay.
Pizza.
You go to a Pizza Hut.
There's a R in there. Yeah. I didn't know there's an R in pizza.
Oh yeah, it's New England. It's pizza and soda.
Pizza and soda. Wow.
You got to add it. You know the R's that we take away from words that end in R? We add them to words that end in A.
Oh, so because letters cannot be created or destroyed.
Exactly. We just needed to shift them somewhere else.
Ah, okay. And
So,
also, I don't know if you realize this. You're not from Boston, so stop acting like you are.
I have family. I have a cousin from Boston.
Doesn't mean anything.
He drinks Sam Adams.
Doesn't matter if you have a cousin from Boston. You're not.
I'm from New England, and we all kind of talk the same.
No, you don't.
Yes, we do.
No. You have Boston who talk like Boston, and the rest of New England acting like trying to talk like they're from Boston, but don't actually talk from Boston.
I don't have a Boston accent. I don't know what you're talking about.
Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hot. Pizza Hot.
Hot dogs. Hot dogs.
Hey, that is how I've always pronounced it.
You're an idiot.
Just like I don't pronounce the word envelope. It's envelope.
Yeah, I've always said envelope.
You said envelope.
Envelope.
That's envelope.
I said envelope. You're
orange.
Open your ear holes, bro. I'm gonna drop some words out. But yeah, what did you think of the so far Sage's quest and Cyrus's 2 pop-ins to give some exposition?
Not terrible. I do like the fact that Cyrus just keeps popping in.
Yeah.
To be like, no, you gotta go do this. Stop trying to give up on this. You're going to do it anyway. I just kind of got you on the right path. Oh, okay, cool. What am I looking for? It's like, Sage, that should have been one of your first questions.
Actually, I think he did ask that, but Cyrus never answered it.
Okay, Cyrus,
I'm not sure.
That is probably one of the things that you should have answered. You're looking for a sword.
Yeah.
You're looking for a cool video.
Your sword.
Yeah, your sword. But I have this other sword now.
Yeah.
Why did you give me a second sword? I'm not going to be able to carry 2 swords. I'm going to have to give one up.
No, he's expecting you to be able to fight with 2 swords. But it's not like 2 swords correctly held. You got to hold one that's the blade up and one by the handle so it's pointing down.
Of course.
Because you got to be cool fighting style.
Super cool.
Super cool. Super cool. Name of your next pay-per-view. Oh, by the way, going back to the dream for a second, I gotta point this out.
It's
great, absolutely perfect, subtle foreshadowing for Sage.
Yes,
absolutely, not a giant spotlight whatsoever.
None whatsoever.
Oh, by the way,
they also dropped the Almighty in there too.
By the way, I gotta just point out this. The sentence that you read, how Mr. Hutchins gives little homework is the greatest perfect sentence ever written.
No, it's not.
The greatest.
It turns into a question halfway through it.
The greatest and most perfect sentence ever written.
No. No.
By the way, I have a little question thing on the name of the chapter. The quest. Really? Sure.
Yeah, we don't really get much of a quest in this.
I'm gonna get spoiler alerts. Spoiler alerts.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Words are hard. I'm sorry. Words are hard. I got like 4 hours of sleep last night.
Good for you.
Because I said I'm gonna be late, and that at 1:13 in the morning, and then changed my mind.
That was your choice.
I know. But anyway, spoiler alert. We're not gonna get much of a quest whatsoever.
No, I didn't think we would.
Because I had no clue what to do with this. I wanted a quest, but I could not figure out what that would be. Again, this was my first novel. I had no idea. And I was a pantser here.
Yeah.
Regardless of that, I had chapter summaries.
It's kind of obvious that you had no real plan going on.
I'm a pantser.
No, you're not.
With chapter summaries. Because that's how pantsers work.
You're not a pantser. You're a planner.
How dare you, sir, that Tim from 2005 isn't a pantser. He's a pantser.
He didn't know that he was a planner yet.
No, he didn't.
He should have known, though.
Yeah. Chapter summaries. Nope. Clear pantser.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, it's an interesting chapter. Like, again, I was trying to come up with obstacles. Throwing a bear in there.
Hey, the bear was actually a kind of a cool move.
Yeah. And then showing again another way to show off his power, and we do get like when I said we know it's his memories because the second info dump from Cyrus.
Yeah.
And he explains that the sword is his.
Yeah. And then it's calling to him.
It's calling to him, and because he's getting closer to the sword, his memories and abilities are coming back to him. Subtle story, subtle.
Super subtle.
Yep. Super subtle foreshadowing.
You're as subtle as a brick.
Yeah, and it's super subtle.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. Though I do have to say again, I did come up with a great new attack, flaming ball of fur.
Yes.
And when I hear this, I only hear it in the AI's voice from Dungeon Crawl Carl. No, not a new attack. New achievement!
Flaming ball of fur!
That's what it is.
You've killed a bear by lighting it on fire. And killing it with fire.
That was on fire.
While it was on fire.
That was on fire.
I love them. That is a great moment for me because I was like, no, I need to add in this last little bit of on fire because the bear falls into the fire and is set on fire while being a burning ball of fire.
Adam, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
How? This has nothing to do with this book.
Okay.
How, in all of Skylar Grant, did one of our go-to jokes was not new achievement?
I think we weren't there yet.
No, you know why?
We were there, but we weren't there.
You know why?
Why?
Because none of us were going through Dungeon Crawl Crawl again.
Not for the second time.
No. If we were actually going through Dungeon Crawl Crawl at the time, we definitely would have done
that
new achievement.
That joke would have happened.
Oh, that's going to be...
See, what I want Sage to do is be like the character in the series that I'm now listening to and just want to sit around fishing.
No. Fishing's boring.
Hey, it's awesome. Especially when you get a guard crab.
Boring.
Sergeant Snips is great.
I'm going to be on the lookout from now on for the rest of this book. Anything I can say, new achievement.
Boss battle.
Oh, we'll have a few of those areas where we can do that one.
Technically, we just had one. It was a mini boss.
Yes. That was a burrow boss.
Yes.
Small little area.
Oh, of course.
But Sage forgot to grab the map before the bear ran off.
I can't believe he would have been able to find the sword so much faster.
And technically, the bear never died.
No, it was just lit on fire.
And ran off.
And ran off into the woods. Setting things on fire. Honestly, I kind of feel...
somehow not starting a forest fire.
Yeah. Honestly, in my opinion, he just curled over and died right there. Next to the fire.
I will have to say this. Smokey the Bear is very disappointing in Sage.
I know. You set a forest fire.
You set a bear on fire. You got lucky they did not start a forest fire.
I'm surprised it didn't.
I know. But yeah. Again, Sage is just... Cyrus is just...
He's info dumper.
Yep.
I'm glad that we didn't have, Dr. Toller or Daniel or anybody else there because it would have added more things to me.
Oh, so by the way, I have a question.
You have a question?
No, I don't have a question. I have a thing from Cyrus.
Oh, yeah.
For this actually Sage actions after Cyrus said something to him the first time he pops in.
Okay.
Cyrus said, "You have a long journey ahead of you." As he's walking around, Cyrus searches around, expecting to randomly come across the sword, though he was just told he has a long journey ahead of him.
Of course.
Wow. Sage is dumb.
Sage wants the long journey to be about 20 minutes long.
Yeah. This is about 20 minutes. Long? How long is this?
It's like 2 days. Yeah, because honestly, he's been on this for about 3 hours now. Because I'm willing to bet it was the afternoon when he pulled over to the side of the road and went, yep, this is the mountain I need to climb.
By the way, I felt like when Cyrus said, if you go at it, you could find the sword by tomorrow.
Yeah, he's like, I doubt it.
And then he actually comments, you're not going to... Spoiler alert. He's not going to find it tomorrow.
No, I didn't think he would.
Nope. Hate to ruin that, but...
Yeah, no, I don't. I just don't see him doing that.
Yeah. It's an interesting chapter.
Yes.
I will say this was a good little bump in trying to find something. for a first-time novel,
Yeah.
not knowing what to do and how to come up with this cool quest that I kind of really wanted for it, which we're eventually you're gonna find that we quickly get away from and focus on something else that's going on.
Okay.
Because I didn't know what to do with this, and I needed to waste time to make it feel like he's not doing something this whole time before he finally achieves it. And we don't see it. We get it in a flashback. Oops, spoiler alert.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
That's crap.
But, yeah, other than that, what do you think of the overall chapter?
I mean, not bad.
Yeah.
We got Cyrus dumping the info that we needed on us.
Yep.
Sage having a random bear attack.
Yep. Though I do have one thing can't believe I haven't had Sage say to Cyrus.
Yeah.
Do something already.
Help me.
No, not to help me.
Help me.
No.
Help you.
Not that. Just do something already. All you keep doing is popping up, asking questions, telling things, but not do anything.
And then wandering away.
And then apparently just able to disappear.
Yep.
So subtle.
That's.
I am the greatest at subtle foreshadowing as a first time novelist.
Yeah, I know. It could be that he walked just out of view and then never saw it again. I'm like, okay, maybe he didn't disappear.
We got that.
We got
first time.
one.
We got one of those.
The second time Sage turned around and he wasn't there, and he's like, he pulled a Batman on me.
God damn it. So,
why does he keep doing this to me?
I would love to. I should have put it in Sage doing that to Cyrus at some point in this one, and having Cyrus like, oh, so that's what that feels like.
Exactly.
Do
the Jim Gordon or Batman when Nightwing.
No, Catwoman in Dark Knight Rises.
Oh yeah, no. In the comics, it was Nightwing that did it to Batman.
Well, like Dark Knight, right? Like Batman, like, oh, so that's what that feels like.
Oh, okay.
Oh. No wonder why people hate it so much.
I'm out.
But anything you want to add to this?
Nothing at all. It's been I had fun.
But you still haven't answered the question, the most important question.
I can't answer that.
You have to. What about the hoot dogs?
That is above my pay grade. I cannot answer that question.
I'm surprised you didn't ask.
I have been held. There are rules that hold me back from answering that.
I do have a question.
Yes.
That you haven't asked the question of the entire fight with the bear, how the tent didn't get touched.
Dude, luck. Even the bear avoided it. He was like, whoa. That's a tent. That's important.
You want to know? I can give you the answer. You want to know?
What?
See, Cyrus, he was in the tent the entire time.
He made the tent disappear.
No, he
just held it.
Him
like,
being,
nope.
Him being in the tent made it indestructible.
Yep.
Actually, no. Well, you don't really know. I forgot to mention this in the writing. They actually went right through the tent. They phased through it because of Cyrus.
Because of Cyrus. Okay.
Yep. All right. So we'll wrap this episode up here. Let us know down in the comment section what you thought of this chapter. Do you think this was a good hiccup in Sage's quest? And I'm putting air quotes on quest because, yeah. But let us know down in the comment section any of your thoughts on the story so far. Also, if you're enjoying this story, why don't you go and hit that sacrifice that like button as a prayer to the holy algorithm. And subscribe because I got writing content on this channel that will be on screen now. And if after you're reviewing my content, you need some entertainment, go check out Adam's channel for some terrible gameplay.
We're the best at being bad.
Yeah, they are pro gamers.
Our tagline is, we're just a couple of friends playing games.
That are pros. Again, pros.
Pros. We're the pros. What's up, bro?
Whatever you think you click on my screen, we'll see you there. Thank you so much for watching, listening. Bye!